chat box, there is a text mentioned about a link for attendance. Please click on the link and fill in the details so that you may obtain a certificate. If you are on YouTube, you may check out the description section. There is a link to the Google form for attendance. If you have any questions, once again, you may type your questions in the chat section. We will read out the questions at the end of the session, which is expected to be around 11:40 p.m. 11:40 a.m. Without further ado, I will pass this to Sister Adilah to formally begin our webinar for today. Thank you.
Okay, can everybody hear me? Okay, may I begin? Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Adilah binti Mat Nasser, and I am a master's student in IIUM, training as a clinical psychologist. So for today, we're going to start with the assertiveness training. Firstly, I would like to thank you all for coming here today. I really appreciate that you have made the time to join us. Let's just begin. So for my part, I would like to introduce you guys to the to what is assertiveness, the definition of assertiveness, and the four types of communication, which is passive aggressive, and assertive communicators, as well as we'll take a bit of a short checklist test of how assertive to check how assertive you are. So for our next slide, I would like you to tell me if these situations are familiar to you. So one of the first situation is, hey, I know that you have plans this weekend, but I need you to have this work completed before Sunday. And the second situation is for your university application, I want you to choose either the medical line or the engineering line. I'm concerned about your future and I want you to have a stable financials as said by your parents. And the third situation is your mother-in-law comes to stay in your house, but she keeps on rearranging the things in your house according to her liking. So I would like you guys to put in your response in our next slide. We will please open menti.com, and I would like you guys to try out and see. I would like to see how you guys would respond to the situation. May we go to the next slide, please? Okay, so we will share with you the Mentimeter code together, and let's just see how would you respond to the first one of the situations. I know that some of these may seem familiar to you, how a boss or any colleagues will ask you to share with you to have you used your weekend to do a bit of work, or if your parents have asserted themselves into telling you, hey, I want you to choose this line because it's much more financially secure in the future, or maybe even somebody, not just your mother-in-law, maybe like whoever, your housemates or your friends come into your house to stay, but then they keep on rearranging the things in your house according to their liking. So, um, can somebody help share the Mentimeter code, please? Okay. So yeah, I would like you guys. Okay, there's a code at the top of the Mentimeter there. You just type in Menti, www.menti.com, and use the code 34210692. I'm just gonna put it in the chat so that you can try to enter it. Okay, so the code has been placed inside. Okay, I see one response. Okay, so you would say for the first one, you would say, I'm sorry, boss, I have plans. Okay, how about, okay, I see a second one, but it's not coming out. Alamak, I'm blocking it. Okay, so let's see. Okay, the question is, how would you respond to the situation that has been given here? Your boss is asking you to do a bit of work to complete before the week ends, and as well as a second situation is your parents telling you to choose a course, a university course, um, so that um, you have a stable financial future. And the third one, either anybody, your mother-in-law or your friends or your housemates, keep telling you to stay, who stays in your house, but keeps rearranging your things according to their liking. Okay, I see quite a number of response here. Okay, I see, okay, one, I'm sorry, I am unable to, but I would complete it when I come to work. Okay, that's fascinating. Okay, I am deeply sorry, boss, but I have an important plan this weekend. Can you please ask somebody else? Wow, I can see that y'all are really good here. Okay, actually, I have other important things to do. I'll get it done. Okay, I can see a lot of you arranging your no, you guys know what to say with your boss. Oh, okay, I can see one. Okay, I would let her keep rearranging things. Okay, that's very fascinating. Okay, okay, I see that a lot of you would know what to say to your boss. Okay, so let's just go forward and look into um is there anybody who answered the third situation? Okay, thank you, Mom. I appreciate your help, but I prefer if you leave them untouched. Wow, okay, tidak layan. But what on Monday? Oh, interesting. Uh, okay. I I can see that you guys know what to do and how to say it the way that you wish to say. I understand your concern, but I have some research in this field. Okay, wow. Okay, fascinating. There's a lot of responses. Okay. Uh, okay, I already have plans, boss. Okay, let's just move on to the next slide. Okay. So thank you everybody for putting in your responses. I really appreciate it. It seems that you guys actually know what to say, what to do. Okay, and I'm very happy that to see the responses as well. Okay, so what is assertiveness? Okay, so assertiveness is basically communicating and expressing your thoughts, feelings, and opinions in a way that makes your views and needs clearly understood by others without putting them down, either their thoughts, feelings, or even opinions. So being assertive is actually a core communication skills. So it can help you express yourself without, within the boundaries of respecting others' rights and beliefs, and at least you stand up with your own points. Okay. So in our next slide, I would like to introduce you to the types of four types of communication and communicators. So assertive versus passive. So what's a passive communicator? So a passive communicators are individuals who have developed a pattern of avoiding expressing their opinions or feelings, protecting their rights, and identifying and meeting their needs. So basically, what do passive communicators do is that they often tend to speak softly or apologetically. They would tend to look down when they speak. They're like, okay, and then or allow others to deliberately or inadvertently infringe on their own rights. They either fail to express their feelings, needs, or opinion. What uh, what are the impact of being a passive communicator? So basically, like passive communicators are usually like often they feel anxious because life seems out of their control. Passive communicators are usually they feel depressed because they feel stuck and hopeless because they're not able to tell what they actually want to tell. And sometimes they may even feel resentful because they're not aware of their whether their needs have been met. Also, they can also tend to get confused because they ignore their own feelings. So other than that is that they're unable to mature because the real situations are never really addressed. So what are the sentences, what do they believe, or what would they have to be, how do they behave? So they would passive communicators, they sometimes they tend to slouch, and then they're like when people come to them and like telling them what to do, they're like submissively say okay, and probably they're unable to stand up for their rights. I don't know what my rights are, and they get stepped on by everyone. So those are passive communicators. Okay, so our next slide, I will introduce you to aggressive communicators. So, what are aggressive who are aggressive communicators? So they're individuals who express their feelings and opinions and advocate for their needs in a way that violates the rights of others. Okay, so I know that sometimes we come across like a whole bunch of people in our life. So I was wondering if you could put it in the chat, either on YouTube or as well as our chat box in Zoom. I want you to like imagine the aggressive communicators in your life. Like how do they make you feel when they start like communicating to you aggressively, coming up to your face, like, hey, try to dominate you over like telling you what to do and stuff. So aggressive communicators, they can sometimes come across verbally and or sometimes verbally physically abusive at times, because they assert so much of themselves that they sometimes um becomes like a little bit fussy and stuff. So what do they often do? What do aggressive a communicator do? So they try to dominate others and use humiliation to control others. So basically, like, okay, just think about the people in your life. Have you ever come across aggressive communicators who tend to, you know, use statement like you do this, you should do that, and stuff like that. So they also have low frustration tolerance. So basically, like if something doesn't go their way, they'll be like they will go angry. They will go like start throwing stuff around and start like blaming other people. Say they criticize, blame, or attack others. It could be physically sometimes when things get a little intense, but also like they can sometimes like blame other people, criticize. And this is not the kind of criticize that's like um they like they criticize like based on insults. They don't exactly criticize you constructively. So sometimes they can even act or threaten rudely. So what would they how would they behave? So how do aggressive communicators behave? So they tend to say or do like some the aura they will come off is like, I'm superior and I'm right and you're inferior and you're wrong, and I'm loud, bossy, and pushy. I can dominate and intimidate you. Everything is your fault. It's our fault. Everybody, this is your fault. It's not my fault. I didn't do anything wrong. I just told you what to do. I'm entitled. You owe me. Those are aggressive communicators. And sometimes they even would say, I own you. Ah, aggressive communicators. Okay, so in our next slide, I would like to tell you about passive aggressive communicators. So how do passive aggressive communicators do? Okay, they're not exactly submissive. I mean, they are submissive, but at the same time, they kind of come off as a little bit aggressive. So how are these people doing? Okay, so who are passive aggressive communicators? So they're individuals who appear passive on the surface, but are really acting out anger in a subtle, indirect, or behind the scenes way. You know, like sometimes like we have like I'm not sure, I'm pretty sure some parents can relate to this, is that some kids when they get angry, what they would do is they would just like they want to show that they're angry, but they can't do it because you'll get angry. So what they'll do is that they would uh stomp their feet and like go upstairs or go to their room and then slams the door. So that's passive aggressive, but they don't want to show you their anger based on verbal, but they'll show it through their behavior. So by slamming the door, stomping their feet, going anywhere, and being sarcastic. So, what do passive aggressive communicators do is that they often use sarcasm, as many teenagers use now. And sometimes they also have difficulty acknowledging their anger because they don't want to seem angry. Sometimes they will subtly sabotage to get even, basically. So sometimes passive aggressive people, because usually they feel powerless or stuck and resentful. So in other words, they feel incapable of dealing directly with the object of their resentment. Okay, I know that sometimes some of us would use passive aggressiveness. Maybe you can even put in your experience with somebody who's passive aggressive, or you've done passive aggressiveness. You can even type it out in the chat box as well as in our YouTube comments. Yeah, so what's the impact of a pattern of passive aggressive communication in these individuals? So they become alienated from those around them. They remain stuck in a position of powerlessness, and sometimes they even discharge resentment while real issues are never addressed, so they can't mature. So how do they behave? How do passive aggressive communicators behave? So they would say that I'm weak and I'm resentful, so I sabotage, frustrate, and disrupt. As well as like feeling I'm feeling powerless to deal with you head on, so I'm going just gonna use guerrilla warfare. I'm just gonna do what I can from behind. So another is I will appear cooperative, but really I'm not. I'm not cooperative at all. Like that. Okay, so that's passive aggressive communicators. Okay, so how about assertive communicators? So now we're going to talk about assertive communicators. So what do they usually do? So who are assertive communicators? So assertive communicators are individuals who clearly state their opinion and feelings and firmly advocate for their rights and needs without violating the rights of others. So what do they often do? So assertive communicators, they often like state their needs and wants clearly, appropriately, and respectfully. So that's the key word: appropriately and respectfully, as well as expressing feelings clearly, appropriately, and respectfully. They use I statements like I feel, distressed because I have all so much things to do. So I'm afraid that I can't do the things that you have asked me to do. I'm sorry. Communicate respect for others. So, like for example, they would tend to be mindful of others and how they communicate with others as well and their rights. So they listen well without interrupting. They tend to assertive communicators, they would tend to listen and not just hear but also listen carefully without interrupting the other person, as well as not allow others to abuse or manipulate them. So basically they stand up for themselves. So the impact of assertive communication is that you will feel connected to others, feel in control of their lives. The assertive communicators, they feel like they can take control of their lives, and they're able to mature. Unlike passive communicators, assertive communicators, they are able to mature and address the issues and problems as they arise. So another is that they create a respectful environment for others to grow and to mature. So how do they behave, and how do they and what do they believe in? So assertive communicators, they would always think about, okay, we are equal. You and I are entitled to express ourselves respectfully, and we can do that with one another. And assertive communicators are confident with who they are. They're confident with their rights. They're confident with themselves. They are confident and respect the rights of others. And they know that they can't control other people. So what they do is they can control themselves, how they respond, how they react. So those are assertive communicators. So assertiveness allows us to take care of ourselves, and is fundamentally for the goodness of their mental health and healthy relationships. So how are we going so far? Are we doing good? What do you guys think? Maybe you can put in the chat box like how do you believe that you're assertive? Okay. So in our next slide, I we okay, so yeah, assertive communicators. Okay, so as being assertive is actually pretty simple, but it's kind of hard. So what does that mean? So non-assertive or passive people, they're appropriate and respectful, but they're just not honest and direct about themselves. But how about aggressive people? So aggressive communicators, they come off as honest and direct. I guess the slide kind of like ran a little. Okay, so they're honest and direct, but they're not appropriate or respectful. The way they speak is not appropriate, nor is it respectful. So assertive communicators, they're honest, appropriate, respectful, and direct. So it's hard, but they do the best that they can. Assertive people. Okay, and sometimes it's okay, sometimes like it's just a matter of us being able to feel comfortable and empowering ourselves into becoming more assertive. So assertive people, they come off as tactful. They're not bossy. They don't step on other people. Assertive people, they just want us all to have an equal rights to be able to speak freely and speak their minds out, at the very least. Yeah. So let's just go forward and let's see how assertive you are. So we have a checklist in our next slide. So we want to do a simple test. It's a simple yes or no. So we have like each question or each statement that we will provide will have it's a yes or no question. And in the yes or no question, we want you to count how many no's that you know that you have that you answer. So in our so just like in our next slide, we would like to give you a disclaimer. The disclaimer is that this is not a validated psychological tool. It's just a checklist consisting of questions that provide an insight of your level of assertiveness. So this does not tell you like completely true that this is like you're assertive in what way, but then this just provides you a sense of whether or not you're actually assertive. So let's just begin. We will have 10 seconds on the clock for each statement, so that we will save a little bit of time. So the first question, are you guys okay right now? Okay, we're just gonna start. So 10 seconds on the clock. So the first question. Okay, do you look people straight in the eye when you talk to them? Yes or no? Okay, look straight in them in the eye. Okay, so next question. So I want you to count how many no's that you have, okay? So do you speak clearly and address the situation directly? Yes or no? So you come up and you speak your heart out. Do you do that? Okay. I see a lot of yeses in our chats. Okay. Next question. Okay. Do you speak with confidence and not mumble and stumble over your words? Okay. Do you speak clearly and not like stumble upon your words? Okay. Yeah, count all your yeses and count all your nos later. Okay, so the fourth question, do you stand or sit up straight or do you slouch? Okay. How this is yes or no? Okay. Yes or no? Whether no is you slouch when sit. But yes is if you stand up straight. Okay. So fifth question, how are you confident in asking questions when you need clarification? Okay, do you sometimes I realize that a lot of us just really shy to ask questions, even though we have questions in our, especially in class. We're just really shy to ask like, hey, teacher, I'm not sure about this question. Okay. So do you feel confident asking questions? Yes or no? Okay. Next, are you comfortable around others? Like you don't fidget, you're just sitting like ha ha ha, laughing around with them and like be really there and like say what you want to say. Yeah. So are you comfortable around with others? Yes or no? Okay. So next question, are you able to say no when you don't want to do something? Okay, this is a very common question. Are you able to say no when you don't want to do something? I know that sometimes like it depends on people sometimes, but let's just see. Let's just see how assertive you are. Okay. How about next question? Are you able to express your feelings appropriately? I mean, it doesn't matter who they are. They may that be your parents, your friends, your siblings, the stranger right next to you, or the stranger you don't know who. And are you able to express that, hey, that's not cool, man? How are you able? Are you able to do so? Yes or no? Okay. Okay, next question is, do you offer your opinion when you disagree with something or someone? I know sometimes that we tend to like in a meeting, we have our opinion, but we just don't want to say it because we just don't want to seem like we don't want to disagree sometimes. So we kind of like say it after the meeting is done. So I was just wondering, do you offer your opinion when you disagree with someone or something? So yes or no? Okay, next question, last question. So do you defend yourself when blamed for something that wasn't your fault? Okay, I know that sometimes it's not our fault, man. We're innocent. But then they come and accuse us for something we didn't do. That is just rude. So, yes or no? Do you defend yourself? Sometimes it's hard, but we gotta defend ourselves, guys. Okay, so yes or no? So, Okay, so that was the last question. So now I would like you to count how many yeses and how many nos, but we want you to count your total number of no's. So in our Mentimeter, we're going to share with you the Mentimeter. It's the same code, I believe. Same code. There will be a next question. Um, and you put in the amount of no's that you have. And then we're gonna see the scores. Ooh, it's up now. Okay, let's see. Okay, you can see this is how many no's. Okay, you can see that somebody has 8 and somebody has 1. Wow. And 2. Oh wow. Okay. I can see that on average we can see the norm. We can see that we can be aggressive, we can be passive, but we're also like we're very cautious. So I can see that a lot of you are assertive enough to like tell others how they feel. And yeah, that's wonderful. I can see there's a lot of people here on threes. Okay, threes and twos, meaning that wow, you're I mean, number one is super assertive, but like at least you're assertive enough. So the level of assertiveness to count the nose. So 2 to 3, you assert your needs and wants without too much difficulty. At least you can like tell people how you feel, your thoughts and your beliefs, and stick to it. And 4 to 6 knows you may experience a trouble being assertive and possibly replay several what if scenario before acting. So 7 and above, you lack assertiveness and should spend time building up the tools necessary to live life on your own terms. So that's why we're here today. Whoever who has scored 7 and above or 4 to 6, I can see that there's a few of you who has 9. I hope this is 9 yeses, but I guess it's 9 no's. Okay, that's okay. Majority is 3. Yeah, wow. Okay, so that's great. At least we know that you are assertive without having difficulties to tell others. Like you're not. It doesn't come off as too difficult for you. But I can see that there's a lot of 4s and 5. 5 is the yeah. Okay. So so yeah, now we know what our participants. I hope this is also from people from YouTube as well. Uh to see how assertive you guys are. Okay, that's fantastic. I am so happy to see that a lot of you are able to assert yourself, but sometimes you may have a bit of difficulties. But yeah, we want to help you with the difficulty part. Okay, we want to help. This is why this is a training. We want to help you and give you tips as to how to be assertive. And so before we begin to go to our next presenter, Miss Isti, I would like to thank you for paying attention, and I'll pass you to Miss Isti. But before we go to Miss Isti, we are going to watch a little bit of a YouTube video of assertiveness. Okay. Thank you guys. I really appreciate that you are interactive and like I hope you guys are listening. I'm so happy that you are. Thank you.
Life's pretty nice for these kinds of assertive people. They usually end up with the window seat on airplanes, the last slice of pizza, and the cubicle that's not by the bathroom. I hope he flushed. But not everybody is naturally assertive, even if they're loud. If you're like a lot of members on the Wellcast team, you might not be as comfortable talking about yourself. Saying what you want or what you think when you're around a lot of people can be really difficult. Okay, well, today we've got 4 quick tips on how to be more assertive in every aspect of your life. At school, at work, or in a nerve-wracking situation, like having to tell your parents that you dinged the car. I'm so sorry. You ready? Tip 1. Hold on to your nuts. Yep, this is an acronym borrowed from the author Wayne Levine. It stands for non-negotiable, unalterable terms. Basically, your boundaries. When you find yourself stuck in an uncomfortable position, ask yourself, what are the most important things to me in this situation? What do I absolutely refuse to compromise? Your nuts should include something broad, like my health, or something specific, like my A average in biology. Either way, once you know what your priorities are, it'll be easier to fight for them. Tip 2, be simple, honest, and direct. Don't be passive-aggressive or coy. It's annoying. If a waiter brings you a kale salad and you ordered a cheeseburger, don't wait until the end of the meal to undertip. Have him send it back. If you're honest and direct, rather than waffly and underhanded, things are more likely to work out in your favor. At the very least, you've done yourself a favor by making your needs known. Tip 3, fake it till you make it. Hey, here's a secret. If you act assertive, you will start feeling assertive. So, how do you know to do that? Well, use your body language and your voice to make your presence known. Practice good posture. And speak in an authoritative volume. Please do not touch anything on my desk. It smells in there. Are you flushing? I know you didn't wash your hands. Be an eagle, not a turtle. I know, just let me tease this metaphor out a little bit. It's a little weird. Do be an eagle. Don't be a turtle. Don't thrust your shoulders forward or slump. You look like you're apologizing for yourself. Do straighten your back. Stick your chest out. Breathe evenly and deeply. Don't dart your eyes about. It's gonna look like you've got something to hide. Pro tip, if you're nervous about maintaining eye contact, look at someone's nose or forehead. You'll seem more engaged and in control. We tried this, it actually works. Do speak up. Seriously, I can't even hear you right now. Tip 4, use I statements instead of you statements. This way, you can express what you want without being accusatory. To wit, what follows is the wrong way to tell your roommate to do the dishes. You never do the dishes. There's a pile of them in the sink right now, and it's old enough to be carbon dated. Here's the right way. I feel like I've been doing more than my fair share of the dishes lately. I'm pretty tired when I get home from work. Could you help me out? See? You expressed your frustration without sounding like a nag. The assertiveness goldmine. All right, you've completed your primer for being assertive. Remember, figure out your priorities, be straightforward and honest, maintain good posture, eye contact and volume, and use I statements. Go forth, wellcasters. You're ready to tell that waiter that you ordered a cheeseburger.
Yep. Hi, can everyone hear me? Okay, cool. All right, so let me just shortly introduce my name is Nooridzzty. Before I start, feel free to drink water or maybe stretching a bit, straighten out your posture so that you won't feel the backache and everything. What I'm going to share with you guys today. So there are 4 things that I'm going to touch for my part. The first one is the 3 characters of assertiveness. And then second is benefit of assertiveness. And third, how can being assertive improve your life? And then also I'm going to touch a bit on the assertiveness tips. So let's get into it. Okay, so remember the scenario that Adilah shared previously at the beginning of the session. So it stated that the first scenario is hey, I know that you have planned this weekend, but I need you to have this work completed before Sunday. So since this scenario of Shanti, she's an employee in a telemarketing company, and her boss often asks her to work outside of the office hours. So when she received the instruction from her boss, she ends up canceling all her plans to complete the task given on her off days, and that's on Shanti. So okay, so Shanti is more to passive communicators, such as okay, sure boss, whatever you say because you are my boss. Okay, and let's get into the second scenario. Okay, so for your university application, your father wants you to apply either the medical line or engineering because they're concerned about the future, and you have that wanted to have a stable financials. But then Ihsan, he's a very nice boy and would follow his father's instruction. But because this decision is like related to his future and he wants to like decide what course that suit his interests, and so what he did is he acknowledged his father's opinion, but at the same time he explained what he wants to do and hoping that his father would understand and accept his choice. That's on Ihsan. So he's like direct, honest, acknowledge the other person opinion, but at the same time expressing his own opinion as well. So, and then we go to the scenario number 3. It said that your mother-in-laws come to stay in your house, but she keeps on rearranging things in the house according to the liking. So like, say this person, Yaya, she dislikes people tampering with her things, like touching her things. So upon seeing her mother-in-law keep arranging her things around the house, she lost her temper and slammed the door and then yelling to her husband about that. So instead of telling the mother nicely, so Yaya, she yelled, slammed the door, and then show that she doesn't like that. So okay, so if you like read all the scenarios given from the first scenario until the third scenarios, like if you like look into it, read about it, and then ponder upon it, and then think about it. So if we can move to the next slides, thank you. All right, so if you like ponder upon all the scenarios and the characters, the made out characters that I've shared previously, can you like share to the box, in the chat box, which characters can you relate the most? Which one are you that you think probably you will react to that situations? I can see a lot of Ihsan, Yaya, okay, Ihsan, Yaya, Shanti, Ihsan, and sometimes Shanti, Ihsan. Okay, that's like various answers. So I think like you can relate from the scenarios, from the sharing by Sister Adilah. It says that when you're a Shanti, you're more on passive communicator. So you like saying no is not in your dictionary. You will say yes to everything. And then Ihsan is more opinionated person, like in a more realistic way, because he acknowledged the opinion and then let people know what his choice is. And Yaya is like aggressive when she doesn't like it, she like show it, and then in a more aggressive ways. Okay, so what if you can see the scenarios, like can you think about like what are the impacts this scenario, what are the impacts these reactions to you? Say that Shanti, so because I see a lot of people putting Shanti as well. Say that Shanti and you say yes to everything that your boss says. So in a contract you said that you have to work on a Monday to Friday. Suddenly they said they want you to work on Sunday. So currently you are lacking of self-care. So you work like 24 hours and then you don't have rest break time. And then it could increase your stress. You don't have time with your friends. There is like a lot of impacts that cause to your life. And then like if you become a Yaya, you can offend it and hurt people. People will like take it wrongly. Instead of you like saying people that, okay, actually, I don't like this. Can you like please not touch my things or rearranging around? So instead of that yelling, that give like bad impression, as well as like impair your social functioning with other people. So there is like the impacts of not being assertive. So when, especially like when we talk about Shantis, self-care or your me time is very important for you. So if you don't have that me time or and you say yes to everything, that could cause you like a lot of stress, lacking of your leisure time, or maybe like your self-care time. Okay, so how is it being assertive can help you, and what is the benefit of it? So we touch about it, and see that the first thing is it helps you to gain confidence and self-esteem. So when you are trying to like put your words, like put your thoughts into words, saying your opinion when people said something about you, so you like you have control over yourself. You know that you have control over that situations and you can solve the problem. So instead of you just following everything that they say, you have control to that problems and you can maneuver your way out of the conflict. So it gives you like self-esteem that, okay, I have control over this. I am confident I can say this without hurting the other people's feelings. So because like assertiveness is the key that like unlocks so many areas, especially in workplace, relationship, or even school, like academic setting. For instance, that your lecturer gives you additional assignments and you have to submit like in 2 days. So that's like absurd for you. But then because she's your lecturer, you don't know how to say no. So that's becoming like adding on a lot of stress in you, and then you're not allowed to like maybe like burn out. You don't sleep at night because you want to finish up the assignment and etc. And number two is like understand and recognize your feelings. So when you're being assertive, you understand what are you feeling currently actually. Okay, so I feel like this is not good for me, and then this is not good for everyone else, and I think I'm a bit frustrated over this thing. So it's being assertive helps you to, okay, this is what I'm feeling, and this is currently what I am feeling. So instead of like you're feeling frustrated, but yeah, that's okay. So you're not acknowledging your feelings. And research also says that the being assertive can help to reduce depression and also stress, because it eliminate the fear and stress that present because of like demanding bosses, angry customers, unhelpful colleague. So there's research actually saying that there's the link between low level of assertiveness and also stress and depression. So these two is like closely related. So it's like in the research they said that it's recommended that we build up the assertiveness in order to also prevent or reduce the level of depression and also stress. And also assertiveness helps you to improve communication. So how many times you remember that you are so fear like to give out your opinions, kan? So it's like, can I say this? And then end up it's just one-way communications, because like, and then the other recipient also think about, okay, what is she thinking? What about what his or her opinion about this? Like you guys can share in the chat box. It's like you have ever like encountered the situations that you think like myself, I don't know what this other person is thinking and I can't figure it out. So being assertive help both parties because you improve the communication between both of you. And then it's also like help you to stand back from situation that you involved in where you're not communicating. And it assertive helps you to like encourage openness, being open and being more possibilities to discuss. And other than that, it's also helped to improve decision-making skills. In terms of, instead of saying yes to everything, and you can decide for yourself what you want to do, being assertive actually helps you to decide for yourself, and then letting people know what is your decision. And at the same time, you actually take responsibility of your own choice. It can eliminate the possibilities of the blaming game, like I'm doing this because my father did, so my score like this because of my father, and then etc. etc. And also the benefit of assertiveness is like it creates honest relationship. So how does it do so? Because communication is more honest, and when you express your feelings and you speak up, that is when other person know, okay, this is what you're feeling. So instead of like you're holding everything, you're suppressing everything, and then you're just saying yes, you're not being dishonest to yourself and also to other people. So like being assertiveness actually helps you in terms of this section or aspects in life. And also, and how assertiveness can actually improve your life in a way that, like if you could move to the next slides, we can see the next slides. Okay, so how does assertiveness help you to improve your life? Like, do you guys like ever realize that, okay, oh, I am being assertive today, I'm giving my opinion, and how that makes you feel, what you feel about that? Can you like tell me and share in the chat box? Okay, so it's like assertiveness helps you to improve. Yep. So you feel good about it. You feel good that you are being assertive, and then you feel like satisfied, and then you feel at peace because you're able to like give opinions about yourself, right? So another way that it could also help you to improve your life, that you are being an open-minded person, because you have to keep on like listening, and then like, okay, I have to accept the opinions, and I also can give my opinions. So you're in an open-minded, you can be an open-minded person. Yep. And then when you like at least being assertive and tell people, you can feel the peace. Like you guys share in the chat box. You don't like being in the emotions. You feel like distress, and then you're not in control of yourself. That can avoid a lot of things. And also it can help you to continue to grow and learn, because you like when you standing in by your thoughts, does not mean that you know that you standing by your thoughts doesn't mean that you are right. But then if you consider all the evidence, that things that you want to say, you can always reflect. You can always grow. Okay, this is what I can say in the next time in the future. This is what I cannot say because it hurts other people. So you keep on growing and learning about it. And assertiveness also helps you to become an active listener, because in order for you to give out your opinion, you actually have to listen to other party, what they want to say, what they want to do, what is their opinion. So you listen, and then only you give your opinion. And also it helps you to handle mistake like positively. In what way? Because when you did something or you said something wrong, you correct and you own up to the mistake and what that you missed. And it also allows you to express the needs. So instead of like, I don't know how to say this, I need to do this, I need my own free time, I cannot lend you some money, for instance, because I need the money as well. So being assertive helps you to express all the needs that you actually want, or you probably need that. And then it also knowing your rights and improve your life, because you know, like you become aware what you are allowed to do and defend the rights that you have towards it. Like, like, okay, this is my rights. I am allowed to say no. I'm allowed to give my opinion about it because this is my life, and that this is my right. So you have that. And then technically, like, that is how being assertiveness can overall help you in your life, because it's a key area that can help you in terms of workplace and also academy and relationship. Okay, so moving on to the next slide is, okay, so how does assertiveness improve your life? Like, and then what is the things that maybe you can look into or you can take consideration when you want to be assertive? And this is gonna be like elaborated more by Brother Aiman after this, but this is like a beginning of that. So the first step is always to respect yourself and respect your needs, respect your wants, and respect your rights, because these are all important as anyone else's. Yes, you want to prioritize everyone, you want to prioritize your friends, but your needs, your wants, and your rights are important as well. So respect yourself. It is fine for you to express what you want, as long as you are respectful, as long as you are toward the right of others, respectful toward the rights of others. So other than you respect yourself, at the same time you respect other people also. Yes, Anissa, this very quiet and sensitive practice. I hope like after the sharing by every like my team, like Aiman, Adilah, and me, maybe you can get few skills that can try practice, because this take a lot of time. It's like not going to be one time practice, then it's okay. There's going to be like a lot of trying. Yes. And then second thing is you express your thoughts and the feelings calmly. So instead of using your emotions, instead of using being passive or not talking about it, or giving the silent treatment, yelling or threatening, or you can shaming people, is all great examples of what not to do. Like, because when you did that, you are not taking responsibility over that. And then you take responsibility for your emotions. You're feeling this way, acknowledge that, and then give opinion about that. And then you express what you're feeling, what your thoughts in a calm and factual manner. So instead of using your emotions, you use the factual. And then you try starting sentence with I feel like I need to have more rest time this weekend because I've been working for so long, or I feel like I want to do laws instead because I really, really like reading about laws, and I really want to be a lawyer someday. So started your sentence with I feel. That is like you expressing your thoughts and feeling calmly. And then you plan what you are going to say. So you know what you want. Like I said, that you know what you want and you know what your needs. And then how you can express them. Before you entering that conversations, Come up with specific sentences and words that you can use. Practice. Plan. Okay, I'm gonna say this to my father. Okay, I'm gonna tell my boss about this. I'm gonna tell my mother-in-law what I feel. So plan before ahead, and don't speak when you are emotions. Try to express it in a more calm manner, or take just 3 seconds or 10 seconds to pause and then rethink again, and then only you speak up. And the last one that I want to share is you want to say no when you need to. It's instance like you cannot make everyone happy. You cannot make everyone happy at all the time. So when you need to say no, do so clearly. So saying no clearly and without lying about the reasons, being honest about it. Like, I cannot do this. Why? Say that people are asking you to send them to the airport. So you say, oh, I'm so sorry. I cannot do this because I haven't rest and I need to sleep and I have a meeting. So just be honest, trying to, in saying no, and make it like more clear. Instead of just like, cannot lah, because I think I might have something else to do, like that. So yes, so it's like saying no, but clearly, and then don't lie about the reason, being honest about it. Okay, so this is the tips. Okay, like in your opinion, like which are the tips that you guys always use or you guys want to use? Like maybe like after this session, say, okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna respect myself. I'm gonna say no when needed. What do you guys think about it? Yeah, you can share on the chat box. Right, you want to express your thought calmly. So avoid like emotions when speaking. Yes, I know, go for it. You're gonna say no when you want to. No more saying yes to everyone. Prioritize yourself. True, Aiman. We're right now is in the online, right? So a lot of texts, emails, messages. Maybe the tone is like kind of people misunderstood your tone, etc. So you plan it like, and then really, really think about other people as well. I want to say what I want without having feeling of guilt. Yes, Ileana, that's so amazing. Like, yes, you are entitled to say what is your opinion, and then you don't have to feel guilty about it as long as you say in more factual facts and not using your emotions and then using the aggressive ways of sharing it. Yeah, make yourself aware of your healthy boundary. That's very important. Knows your boundary, identify your boundaries, know your boundaries, and respect that boundaries so that people can respect your boundary as well. You want to try to be more courageous to address the things that bother you. That's good. So keep on trying, being more courageous. Remember that this is all try and error. It's like you're experimenting, and that's why it can help you to grow and learn, because okay, this is what you should do. And this is maybe something that you can avoid and try to do better next time. You don't want to berkias-kias anymore, right? So trying to be more clear, more direct, and more honest in that, so that people will understand. And other people also don't have to like teka-teki or making riddles when thinking about what you want to say and what your feelings and etc. All right, I think that's very good. Thank you so much, everyone. I hope thank you for responding. Thank you for being so interactive. I hope my sharings will benefit you in any way. Feel free to ask questions in the end of the sessions, and forgive me for any flaws and everything. So right now, I think I'm done with my part. Thank you for your attention, and I'm going to give the floor to Brother Aiman to share more about the assertiveness and how you want to be assertive in your life. Thank you. Have a nice day. Don't forget to stretching a bit.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and good morning everyone. How are you today? Are you still doing okay? Yes, hopefully everything is okay. It's been 1 hour since we start our session. Can we do a simple stretching? Are you okay with that? Okay, do simple stretching. Okay, just do any kind of stretching that you want. Don't worry, if you don't want to turn on camera, you can stretch as much as you want. Then just don't break your bone. Okay, just stretch. If you need to take a break. Okay, so just do simple stretching, move your hands, move your body, move your shoulder, and so on. Give yourself a time, just as Sister Isti said, have respect for yourself. Respect yourself that your body has been staying in front of the computer or the laptop or your phone for 1 hour listening to and learning the skills of being tiba ada mak kat sini kan. Learning the skills on being a assertive person. Okay, so with me today, my name is Aiman Amri, and I'm one of the speaker today. We want to talk three things today, which is the first thing is the formula, how to develop assertiveness, which I call as 3 ha and 3 ka. 3 no's and 3 ha. So yeah, just like jokes. And some case study related to being assertive, a real case study, which I show you here so that you can see how assertive people do this. And last but not least, some practical tips in being assertive. It's an extension of what Sister Isti had been talking in the previous session, but we complete it with a group activity. Group activity means that you have to practice on being assertive. All this while I've been reading in the chat section that you say that, okay, you want to try this, you want to try this. Then there will be a time for us to try that. Okay, hopefully you're doing so. You're doing okay. You're doing well. Okay. Before I start, we just started. Before we start our session today, before I start my part, I want to show you a video, a simple video, but there is something very useful for us. I noticed that, okay, before I show this video, a bit disclaimer, this video might show how old I am. So if you can relate to this video, means that you are almost at the same age as I am. But if you cannot relate, either you're older than me or you're younger than me. But it's okay, we just watch it together. Okay, let's watch it.
Nice. These were the ingredients chosen to create the perfect little girl. But Professor Utonium accidentally added an extra ingredient to the concoction, Chemical X. Thus, the Powerpuff Girls were born! Using their ultra superpowers, Blossom, Bubbles, and Buttercup have dedicated their lives to fighting crime and the forces of evil!
Hooray! So you watch this video. How does it feel watching this video? Powerpuff Girl Group Master, Masya Allah. Why did we become adult? See, when during our childhood, it's always the same, the best moment, right? Okay, so what I want to express through this video, do you see that Professor X is doing something? The introduction of the part where Professor X is trying to what we call make a perfect ingredient to make a perfect little girl. But what he put in the ingredient is sugar, spice, and everything nice. So it's the same today. I want to be Professor X for you. I want to be Professor X where I want to show you what are the ingredients or the formula for you to become assertive. I want to turn you into a Powerpuff Girls or Powerpuff Boy, depending on your gender, to be an assertive person after this. So based on the formula, the sugar, spice, and everything nice, these are the perfect formula. Not the perfect lah, almost good as we can apply on how to be assertive. I call it as 3 no's and 3 have. What are the 3 no's? The first no is know your limitation. Second is know your value. And third is know your emotion. And 3 have is have self-respect for yourself, have respect for others, and have a sight of the future. Okay, I think that's finished. I think we can end our session. I already give my formula. So we end our session today with tasbih kafarah. I'm just kidding. Sorry. Okay. So the explanation, step by step. I hope you can jot this down to understand about this, because you're going to apply this technique, the 3 knows and 3 have, while being assertive later. So what do you know? From know your limitation, understand that you are not a god. You cannot please everyone. You cannot please all the people in this world while sacrificing yourself. This is the most important part of being assertive. You have to understand your limitation. Limitation means that there are things that you cannot achieve no matter how much you work it. Maybe you can go to the extent, but you're going to sacrifice something else. So know your limitation, understand you're not a god, you cannot do anything, you cannot do everything, sorry, and you are not a people pleaser. So this is the first limitation that you need to know. The second know is know your values. What's the most important thing in your life? Most important thing in your life. For example, if I were a boss, and I want to ask my workers or my staff to come to the work during weekend, or have an urgent report that need to be done by this Monday and it's Sunday. Before I did that, no value. Okay, what is my worker's value? Maybe my worker is some kind of people who, prioritize family, or someone who really take care of the relationship or the family time with them during the weekend. So if I were to ask them to come to the work or to finish the report during the weekend, it might not work because the value contradict. So you have to know what is your values. What are your priority in your life? What make you tick? What make you keep waking up in the morning, keep doing work, keep doing the task, keep struggling, keep fighting? What are your values? If you ask me, my value is always about my family and my master. But for now, my family is number first, although, it's a constant juggling and sometimes through different story lah. But if you're listening to this, can you write in the chat box, what are the most important values that you value in your life? It can be money, it can be time, it can be family, it can be food. Oh my God, lapar pula kan. It can be anything that is important for you. Okay, that's good. You have mental health, parents, self-care and health, family and myself, my peace of mind and emotion. Okay, this is good. You know your values. Then, when you know your values, let's proceed to the next is know your emotions. Know your emotions. Our emotion is not something that, like this. Our emotion is not we cannot understand your emotion using bahasa Melayu or English. Whenever you're feeling stressed, you're not gonna hear a sound say that, okay, Aiman, cukup lah, enough lah, you already done so much work, go take a rest. You're not gonna listen that kind of voice in your head. Or maybe from, let's say, Ayuni, Ayuni's value is husband, family, and health. Okay, let's say when Ayuni is already tired, doing work at home, just want to rest, and Ayuni is not gonna hear a voice say, Ayuni, just go to take a rest lah. Your husband already okay, your family is okay, go take a rest. We're not gonna hear a voice saying that, because emotion is something silent. It works continuously but silently inside our mind. It's up to us to understand the language. And emotion, their language is not through voice. The emotion language, usually the easiest way to understand or to be realized your emotion is through physical symptoms. You start to feel tired, you start to feel like kerut dahi kan, wrinkle on your forehead, you start to feel like a warm cheek, you start to feel like start slouching, start macam no want to do more work, I cannot do more work anymore, I cannot see the words of assignment, I cannot hear the name of my lecturer, or I cannot hear her name, you start to feel like triggered by the things that related to your work, your assignment, your anything that make you struggle. Not to the point to PTSD lah, Masura. Okay, you start to feel that. Or sometimes when you are working at home, or you're studying at home, every time you hear notification, ting, ting, ting. Oh my God, what did my boss say? What did my lecturer say? Alamak, what did I miss? You start to feel that kind of trigger. So know your emotion. Don't make the emotion control you. You control your emotion. Then the first have self-respect. This is an extension of self-care that Isti and Adilah have been saying since the early part of the session. Have self-respect. You know that when we were young, we always being asked by our parents, by our teachers, by our adults, the grown-up, ask us to take care the relationship with others. You know, like in Malaysian culture, and when you shake hand with the older people, you have to kiss their hand. When you walk in front of them, you have like, you remember the formula when you walk in front of older people, you have put your hands behind your back and slouch a bit and then jalan tunduk and so you learn about that. You have been taught how to take care of your relationship with others, and when you grow up, you asked to take care of relationship with your teacher, with your boss, with your colleague, with your classmate. But I believe not many of us has been taught to take care the relationship with ourselves. Respect yourself just like you respect others. Take care of yourself. Remember your limit. Know your limitation, know your emotion, know your feeling, know your values. Then have self-respect. Have respect means that don't ever make yourself being too self-criticized. You know, sometimes when people give a feedback to us, then the feedback start taunting us, keep remembering in our head, okay, itulah kau, that's you useless, or because of you this happened. Itulah, that's why of you, we don't need you in our group. Then the thought keep going on in our head. So respect yourself, understand that you still a human and you are like an Aiman, yazid wa yankus. There's an up and there's a down. Second is have respect for others. Have respect for others means that understand that in being assertive is not the same as being aggressive or passive. Just like Sister Adilah have been saying, passive and aggressive. Find a middle common ground is being assertive. How to show respect to others? Rather than, for example, a workers with the boss, rather than knowing who to win and who to lose, either you win, you come to the work now during the weekend, or I lost, I have to come to the work because I have to sacrifice my weekend to go to my workplace. Rather than thinking this as wins and losses, think as a compromising. Remember in relationship, for example, if you're in a romantic relationship, if your spouse want to eat KFC and you want to eat McDonald's, which one do you choose? Let's say I'm a husband, I want to eat at McDonald's, and my wife want to eat to KFC. Dr. Jamila said, choose both. What I would say, choose McDonald's, choose KFC, because it's always safe to prefer the wife first. Happy wife is happy life, kan? Just kidding. What I mean to say is being assertive means that you can compromise. Let's say you only have some little money just to buy one, then compromise. Let's say if you have been sacrificed, your spouse has sacrificed her time or her suggestion before, then today prioritize her. Tomorrow prioritize you. Find a common middle ground. And last but not least, have a sight of the future. Don't being too focused on the present. I know that being mentally healthy is being focusing in the present, forgetting about the future to the point not become anxiety and not to focus at the past, so it will not become a sadness or depression. But what I mean here is have a sight of the future is sometimes it's okay to think about the future and remember that today is not just today. You still have tomorrow, you still have the next day, next day, next day after that. Okay, maybe right now you're still like, okay, I'm not sure how to apply this. Okay, how to do this? Let's look some case study. This is a real case study, but the name and the character and the story has been changed a little bit. But this is some real case study how assertive people do it. You know, do it. Money. Sorry, haba. Let's see how assertive people do it. So the first assertive person, I know that you can relate some of this, which is Blossom. I've been feeling frustrated about doing most of our group assignment. I understand that you're busy. How can we make this work? So let's look at the step from Blossom use in terms of the 3 have and 3 knows. First, Blossom admit her feelings. I've been feeling frustrated. She acknowledged that. Then she has respect for others. I understand that you're busy. Maybe you have family, you have friends, you have other work, you have other assignment. She has respect for others. She's not blaming, but she accepts that you are busy. Then have a sight of the future. Okay, how can we make this work? How do you think we can make this work? Rather than focusing on the problem, she's straight away focusing on the solution. But not just giving solutions, sometimes it can also by asking a suggestion for solution. So far with me? Is you okay? Hopefully everyone is still here. Okay, all right. I hope that you are not out there fighting crimes. Sorry, papa girl jokes. Okay, the second case study is bubbles. I won't be able to finish of the report that you asked for this Saturday. It's already Friday, and I already have plans with my family. Is it okay if I pass it to you this Monday? Bubbles. So let's look at this step. First, Bubbles admit that she has limitation, which is I cannot finish this report that you asked. This is my limitation. Then she knows the values is I have planned with my family right now because during the weekend, my priority is for my family. During the weekdays, during office hour, yes, my priority as a worker. But in the family, in the weekend, my priority is my family. Second and fourth, she applied, has respect for others, which is fine in middle ground. She asked, is it okay if I do this on Monday? Is it okay if I send this on a Monday? Is it okay if you receive this report later? So she has respect for the boss by asking first. At the same time, she has a sight of the future as well. She give a plan about what can be done from here. Okay, last but not least, as you can expect, Buttercup. It is hard for me to sleep when you're playing games at night with the speaker on. This is a roommate case in the hostel. What if you use headphone, or do you prefer to play in another room? Buttercup said. Okay, in your opinion, if you're watching this, can you write down what are the tips from the 3 have and 3 knows that Buttercup used in this statement? It is hard for me to sleep when you're playing games at night with the speaker on. What if you use the headphone, or do you prefer to play in another room? What are the 3 have and 3 knows that she applied in here? Can you guess? Okay, Shakira said no emotion. That's good, which is being honest and give suggestion. Okay, give suggestion is under what? Express emotion and have self-respect. That's good. What else? Ni PSU tak prepare air ke untuk speaker? Tak, just kidding. kidding. Have sight of the future. How so? How does this have a sight of the future? No limit, cannot sleep. Okay, that's good. By giving solution or option, respect others and his motion. Okay, that's good. The first is yes, she has respect to about herself, which is it is hard for me to sleep. Rather than she's saying that you too noisy lah at night, I cannot sleep. But she expressed it respectfully and rationally, which is it is hard for me to sleep when you're playing games at night with the speaking on. Then she proceed with have respect for the people or the roommates. I know that you love playing games at night. I know that you are like an active gamer. You play PUBG, or maybe you play Candy Crush and you play Plants vs Zombie. The person Buttercup acknowledge that her roommates love to play video games, and she end with, as you mentioned, she has a sight of the future. She gives choices. What if you use headphone, or do you prefer to play in another room? Maybe because the roommate love to hear a sound through speaker, because wearing headphones sometimes can be exhausting to your ears, right? So she acknowledged that maybe you want to play using speaker, but in another room. Okay, So these are some real case study from Bubbles, Blossom, and Buttercup. Don't let me start by saying the song. Okay, some practical tips. When you want to express all these 3 have and 3 knows, some practical tips. First is clearly state your needs and your wants. Focus on the rational rather than being emotional. Focus the information. Second is have appropriate eye contact when you express it. Imagine if I say, sorry boss, I cannot do the work lah. Yeah, I have plans with my family lah. Is it okay boss? Boleh? Boleh, can. You're not going to be so much confident when you have not appropriate eye contact and also with your unconfident body language. At the same time, before you express all the 3 have and 3 knows, try to listen first. What are the real thing that the boss want to say? Maybe the boss asked for urgency, but the urgency is the report, not from you. Maybe from other workers who have a shift during the weekend. Or maybe during the expression from your family, the value, this is like the story for my family and my parents. Their concern is for me to take psychology. So when we try to explore more, it's not their concern for me to take psychology, but their concern is more for me not to have a future, like stable income in the future. So the values they want to express is about their concern that their son taking part in a course that might not have a stable income. So I acknowledge that, then I prove it to them that I can still survive until now. Even have wife and have 2 sons, alhamdulillah for now, until now. So this is one of the way we listen first, try to understand their values before responding or suggesting. Fourth is speaking with the appropriate intonation and volume. This is I mentioned before. And last but not least, have confident body language. Confident body language is like the combination all of this in front of, up there. Okay, so far you're okay, right? Okay, I believe that some of you have been sending questions privately to me. Don't worry, I am collecting all of them, and we will be responding this question together during Q&A session. Okay, I hope it's okay with you. Okay, all right. So let's apply this skill together. It's time for you to be assertive. It's being about me talking about assertive. Isti has taught about you the benefit of assertive, and Adilah has told you about the definition, the difference, the type of people with assertive, passive, aggressive, and passive aggressive. Now it's time for you to apply the tips and the skills that you have learned together. Time for you to become the Powerpuff Girls or Powerpuff Boys. I know in the story is Powerpuff Girls and the bad boys radio. I forgot the name. No, Jojo. There are three enemies. Rowdy Rough Boys. Thank you, Adilah. Because it was during my childhood, and so I forgot to pronunciation. I just remember like Rough Boys, Teen Titan. Oh, Izzat, welcome. Okay, so I want to show you. I want you to apply together in the breakout room. Okay, before we begin, please screenshot this part. Okay, screenshot this part. Okay, what you will do is, after this, you will go into a breakout room where you have 3 people in the room. Okay, thank you PSU Shakir for putting the link for the worksheet activity in the chat box. I believe in the YouTube channel, if you're watching this from YouTube, you can also get this from the description. There's a link, tinyurl.com/assertive-activity, or you can scan QR code on the screen right now. But use the QR code generator lah. Don't use your MySejahtera, okay? Sorry, lame jokes. Okay. So what you'll do is, sorry. What you'll do in the session, in the breakout room is you will have 3 people. So when you have 3 people, in the activity spreadsheet, activity worksheet, there are 3 situations as well. So what you want to do is, the first situation, show you for example. Okay, the first situation is a situation with a boss and the staff. So the first role is for one of you to become the boss and one of you to become the staff. And that the third person become the timekeeper. Only 2 minutes for one situation. Then after finish 2 minutes, you change your role with among you, change someone else become timekeeper, then first role and second role change. Maybe if you become just now you're the one who express, now you're the one to bangkang, right? You want to contradict. So there are 3 situations. You can get this in the activity spreadsheet. You just download it. Thank you for the reminder. Okay, you just download it and you apply it in your breakout room. Is that okay? Okay, you can download this in the link or the QR code stated in the screen. I give you 1 minute to do this. Okay, all right. I believe you got the PDF file. So download that PDF file and bring it to your breakout room. Okay, I shall see you in 10 minutes because one situation is 2 minutes. So 6 minutes in total, including some discussion among you. Maybe don't discuss too much because we're going to discuss together in the main room later. And for those of you who are watching from YouTube, don't worry. I know that you're unable to attend through Zoom, but you will be presented a video about how to speak up for yourself. So you have something extra from the people in the Zoom. Okay, so it's a win-win situation. Remember, common ground kan? How to be in group? Don't worry, you'll be automatically added into the breakout room. Okay, I think that's all. We shall see you in 10 minutes. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Click approve, approve or accept to go into the breakout room. Because we assign you, then you just accept, go into the room. Okay, take your time. Bye-bye. So I just leave to the PSU to share the slide of the video, how to speak up for yourself, Adam Galinsky. That's all for me. Tak ada apa-apa pun, tak keluar apa-apa. Okay, Izzat, maybe the give time for the breakout room to be added.
All right, okay, for some of you, apologize. Sometimes the room is you aren't assigned, likely because like a lot of people coming in and going. So don't worry, you're currently being assigned. Some of them has been automatically assigned.
All right, see you later. So I'm gonna pass the stage. Someone ask for help.
Yeah,
Later.
so for our viewers, there will be a video of like
Speaking up is hard to do. I understood the true meaning of this phrase exactly 1 month ago when my wife and I became new parents. And it was an amazing moment. It was exhilarating and elating, but it was also scary and terrifying. And it got particularly terrifying when we got home from the hospital. And we were unsure whether our little baby boy was getting enough nutrients from breastfeeding. And we wanted to call our pediatrician, but we also didn't want to make a bad first impression or come across as a crazy neurotic parent. So we worried and we waited. when we got to the doctor's office the next day, she immediately gave him formula because he was pretty dehydrated. Now, our son is fine now, and our doctor has reassured us we can always contact her. But in that moment, I should have spoken up, but I didn't. But sometimes we speak up when we shouldn't. And I learned that over 10 years ago when I let my twin brother down. My twin brother is a documentary filmmaker. And for one of his first films, he got an offer from a distribution company. And he was excited, and he was inclined to accept the offer. But as a negotiations researcher, I insisted he make a counteroffer. And I helped him craft the perfect one. And it was perfect. It was perfectly insulting. The company was so offended, they literally withdrew the offer, and my brother was left with nothing. And I've asked people all over the world about this dilemma of speaking up, when they can assert themselves, when they can push their interest, when they can express an opinion, when they can make an ambitious ask. And the range of stories are varied and diverse, but they also make up a universal tapestry. Can I correct my boss when they make a mistake? Can I confront my coworker who keeps stepping on my toes? Can I challenge my friends in sensitive joke? Can I tell the person I love the most my deepest insecurities? And through these experiences, we've come to recognize that each of us have something called a range of acceptable behavior. Now, sometimes we're too strong. We push ourselves too much. That's what happened with my brother. Even making an offer was outside his range of acceptable behavior. But sometimes we're too weak. That's what happened with my wife and I. And this range of acceptable behaviors, when we stay within our range, we're rewarded, and we step outside that range, we get punished in a variety of ways. We get dismissed or demeaned or even ostracized, or we lose that raise or that promotion or that deal. Now, the first thing we need to know is, what is my range? But the key thing is, our range isn't fixed. It's actually pretty dynamic. It expands and it narrows based on the context. And there's one thing that determines that range more than anything else, and that's your power. Your power determines your range. Well, what is power? Power comes in lots of forms. In negotiations, it comes in the form of alternatives. So my brother had no alternatives, he lacked power. The company had lots of alternatives, they had power. Or sometimes it's being new to a country like an immigrant, or new to an organization, or new to an experience, like my wife and I as new parents. Sometimes it's at work, where someone's the boss and someone's the subordinate. Sometimes it's in relationships, where one person's more invested than the other person. And the key thing is that when we have lots of power, our range is very wide. We have a lot of leeway in how to behave. But when we lack power, our range narrows. We have very little leeway. And the problem is that when our range narrows, that produces something called the low power double bind. And the low power double bind happens when, if we don't speak up, we go unnoticed. But if we do speak up, we get punished. Now, many of you have heard the phrase the double bind and connected it with one thing, and that's gender. The gender double bind is women who don't speak up go unnoticed, and women who do speak up get punished. And the key thing is that women have the same need as men to speak up, but they have barriers to doing so. But what my research has shown over the last 2 decades is that what looks like a gender difference, it's not really a gender double bind, it's really a low power double bind. And what looks like a gender difference are really often just power differences in disguise. Oftentimes we see a difference between a man and a woman or men and women, and we think biological cause. There's something fundamentally different about the sexes. But in study after study, I found that a better explanation for many sex differences is really power. And so it's the low power double bind. And the low power double bind means that we have a narrow range and we lack power. We have a narrow range and our double bind is very large. So we need to find ways to expand our range. And over the last couple of decades, my colleagues and I have found 2 things really matter. The first, you seem powerful in your own eyes. The second, you seem powerful in the eyes of others. When I feel powerful, I feel confident, not fearful. I expand my own range. When other people see me as powerful, they grant me a wider range. So we need tools to expand our range of acceptable behavior. And I'm going to give you a set of tools today. Now, speaking up is risky, but these tools will lower your risk of speaking up. So the first tool I'm going to give you got discovered in negotiations, and an important finding. On average, women make less ambitious offers and get worse outcomes than men at the bargaining table. But Hannah Bowles and Emily Monotula have discovered there's one situation where women get the same outcomes as men and are just as ambitious. That's when they advocate for others. And when they advocate for others, they discover their own range and expand it in their own mind. They become more assertive. Now, this is sometimes called the mama bear effect. Like a mama bear defending her cubs, when we advocate for others, we can discover our own voice. But sometimes we have to advocate for ourselves. How do we do that? And one of the most important tools we have to advocate for ourselves is something called perspective taking. And perspective taking is really simple. It's simply looking at the world through the eyes of another person. And it's one of the most important tools we have to expand our range. When I take your perspective and I think about what you really want, you're more likely to give me what I really want. But here's the problem. Perspective taking is hard to do. So let's do a little experiment. I want you all to hold your hand just like this, your finger, put it up, and I want you to draw a capital letter E on your forehead as quickly as possible. Okay, it turns out that we can draw this E in one of two ways, and this was originally designed as a test of perspective taking. I'm going to show you two pictures of someone with an E on their forehead, my former student, Erica Hall. And you can see over here, that's the correct E. I drew the E, so it looks like an E to another person. That's the perspective taking E because it looks like an E from someone else's vantage point. But this E over here is the self-focused E. And we often get self-focused, and we particularly get self-focused in a crisis. I want to tell you about a particular crisis. A man walks into a bank in Watsonville, California, and he says, "Give me $2,000 or I'm blowing the whole bank up with a bomb." Now, the bank manager didn't give him the money. She took a step back. She took his perspective, and she noticed something really important. He asked for a specific amount of money. So she said, "Why did you ask for $2,000? And he said, "My friend's going to be evicted unless I get him $2,000 immediately." And she said, "Oh, you don't want to rob the bank. You want to take out a loan. Why don't you come back to my office and we can have you fill out the paperwork?" Now, her quick perspective taking diffused a volatile situation. So when we take someone's perspective, it allows us to be ambitious and assertive, but still be likable. Here's another way to be assertive, but still be likable, and that is to signal flexibility. Now, imagine you're a car salesperson and you want to sell someone a car. You're going to more likely make the sale if you give them two options. Let's say option A, $24,000 for this car and a 5-year warranty. Or option B, $23,000 and a 3-year warranty. My research shows that when you give people a choice among options, it lowers their defenses and they're more likely to accept your offer. And this doesn't just work with salespeople, it works with parents. When my niece was 4, she resisted getting dressed and rejected everything. But then my sister-in-law had a brilliant idea. What if I gave my daughter a choice? This shirt or that shirt? Okay, that shirt. This pant or that pant? Okay, that pant. And it worked brilliantly. She got dressed quickly and without resistance. When I've asked the question around the world when people feel comfortable speaking up, the number one answer is when I have social support in my audience, when I have allies. So we want to get allies on our side. How do we do that? Well, one of the ways is be a mama bear. When we advocate for others, we expand our range in our own eyes and the eyes of others, but we also earn strong allies. Now, another way that we can earn strong allies, especially in high places, is by asking other people for advice. When we ask others for advice, they like us because we flatter them and we're expressing humility. And this really works to solve another double bind, and that's the self-promotion double bind. The self-promotion double bind is that if we don't advertise our accomplishments, no one notices, and if we do, we're not likable. But if we ask for advice about one of our accomplishments,
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. How are you people? Are you doing okay?
Good, Aiman.
Okay, thank you Isti for answering. I hope everyone now entering session with more assertive, be more assertive. Alhamdulillah, that's good. Okay, before we proceed to our Q&A, the few things that I want to emphasize here as an ending. I know that some of you have been watching the videos in YouTube channel that we presented, but it's not enough time to play all it. So you can search the video here. You search in the video, the YouTube, search the How to Speak Up for Yourself by Adam Galinsky. It's a very good video talking about how assertive people perceive themselves in this world, as well as people who passive and aggressive. So she explained about the speaking up for yourself and how does your way of looking the world affected that as well, because you look at the people and the world and you interact it continuously with yourself. Okay, all right, thank you. I hope that you have a nice discussion. Is there anyone who would like to tell just one thing that they learned, or you want to share your experience in the session? Anyone? You can just raise your hand and I believe that the admin will approve you to be unmute. Or maybe you want to talk in chat box is also okay. You want to talk about your experience in the chat box. I enter breakout room, but only me there, so I leave. Okay, usually it happens because when your partner did not respond to enter the room, they stay in the main room. So you're alone in there. I'm sorry for you to experience that. Okay, nice discussion that we have. Afiq and Arash and Dr. Jamila, that's good. Well done. Group best, Ashikin Juanda. Okay, well done. I'm happy that you have a very good experience in being assertive, practicing assertiveness. Okay, is there anyone who would like to speak? Share your experience? Again, if you tak sempat finish the third case, sebab spend time kat case tu, but I love my group. Okay, that's good. That's okay. Actually, the third case is not the end. You will still experience so much more situation after this. You will experience situation with your boss, with your family, with your siblings, with your lecturers, with your classmate, with your group mate, with your course mate, and everyone else in this world. So you will have a time to practice that. Just remember from what Sister Isti and Sister Adilah have been saying since our early part is, remember that when it comes to being assertive, practice, and practice. You still remember Professor X? You remember, right? The formula is sugar, spice, and everything nice. But what makes the Powerpuff Girl become a Powerpuff Girl and not just ordinary girl? It's not about the sugar, spice, and everything nice, but there's an addition of element X. What do you think the element X is here? What are the element X for you to become this Powerpuff Girl or Rowdy Rough Boys? Practice. That's good, Masura. Well, that's a good answer. What else? What are the chemical X in this formula? We're gonna have 2 more minutes left before we proceed to Q&A. Believe. Okay, that's good. So we have so far is practice, understanding. Okay, that's good. Understanding. Apologize for my cakap ayam tulisan. It's a doctor's punya ni. Intonation. Okay, that's good. eye contact, assertiveness. Okay, what else? The chemical X, best listener. Last but not least, etc. Okay, so willingness. Thank you, Anshakira. So the chemical X here is depending on you. There's no right or wrong answer. It's all depending on you. Okay. All right. I think that's all for me. Thank you so much. I just want to end my part here by one very important, what we call as quotes that I hope that you can have here is, if you don't have a seat at the table, you're probably on the menu. So don't let yourself be eaten by the people around you. Be assertive. Understand that you are not a menu, but you are part of the team, not just being too aggressive, at the same time not being a passive group members, but be assertive. You're not on the menu, you're on the seat. You're part of the team. Okay? Thank you so much. And that's all for me. Thank you so much. I hope that you have a good time in our session today. And now, if everyone want to have any question, you can ask all three of us here. If any question that you want to ask. Hi, Isti and hi, Adilah. How are you?
Good. Thank you.
Doing
Long time
great,
no see.
fantastic.
Okay, so if anyone, okay, maybe we pass this to MC lah, then they lead the question and answer part. Ooh. Okay, Isti. Oh, Adilah. How to draw line between being assertive and rude or derhaka, especially in Islam, we are supposed to follow our parents.
Mana tolak Asra.
I think this.
Okay.
Okay.
I think I can
Apa?
try
Anyone?
something.
Okay, silakan.
Okay, how do you, okay, it's about in assertiveness. Like I said before, assertiveness requires you to be hard, not the kind of hard, but like hard as in honest, appropriate, respectful, and also direct. So macam, yeah, like I said, we have to be respectful whenever we say or don't be, don't be as aggressive lah when you speak, especially to our parents. Okay, like sometimes, like, okay, it's also culture. Our culture is that we don't really speak back to our parents. Kalau tak macam, oh, derhaka, anak derhaka gitu. So sometimes we want to be assertive, but sometimes, however, it comes across as rude, because cara orang lama is dia orang suka berlapik, like they like to sugarcoat however they speak. So I guess sugarcoat it a bit, but also like how you say it is also comes off as respectful as well. I hope that that answers the question.
Okay, maybe PSU want to take over to lead the question part, so we just answer.
Yeah. No,
Okay, Isti.
because there's like second question.
Actually, if I may say,
sorry.
if anyone has a question, they can raise their hand and then we can unmute them.
All right. So,
yeah.
Yep. I'm gonna read the question from the chat box in the meantime. How we differ assertive and being selfish. Being assertive doesn't mean that you're always right. Like I said before, you're standing on your thoughts doesn't mean you're always right. So we are growing, we're learning. So take a step back and then think, acknowledge other people's opinions, and then think about your opinions as well. So when you're being assertive, is you're telling people your opinion, what you say about it, and it's like mutual conversations between you two. It's not like I'm being assertive, I'm saying this, then you have to follow me. That's not being assertive anymore. So like always acknowledging other people's opinion as well, and then giving out your opinion. So that's about it. That's on my opinion, by the way. Thank you.
We have a question from YouTube, actually, from Bomin Choi from YouTube. I've been wondering, was it bad to be like feeling sad or guilty or feeling about to cry after being assertive? How do you overcome those aftermath emotions?
Who would like to answer the question?
We give Aiman, we take turns.
Aiman, you haven't answered any questions yet.
I'm reading. I've been
Okay.
wondering, was it bad to feel like insensitive? Okay, all right. Thank you, Bowman Choi, for a very good question. I've been wondering, is it bad to feel sad or guilty after you try to be assertive, and how do you overcome this emotion? Okay, first of all, trying new things is scary things to do. When you try to do something new, for example, maybe before this you never talk to strangers, you never try to be assertive, but today you be in the breakout room and you talk with someone, for example, like Dr. Jamilah or Miza or Afif or anyone here, Mohammad or Ali, and anyone here, you try to speak to someone you never know and you try to apply. This is something new and a challenge for you. It is normal for you to feel a bit of anxious and to feel a bit of scared because this is something new. And when Bo Min Choi expressed the feeling of sadness or the feeling of kind of guilty as well, feeling about to cry after being assertive, it is okay to feel that way because this is something new for you. So how do you come or overcome this emotion is, first of all, you want to acknowledge them first. Acknowledge the emotion. Ask yourself 3 simple questions. What are the situations that you are currently facing? What are the situations that you experience that make you feel this way? You speak to yourself as if you are explaining to someone that doesn't know about your situation. Just tell her, okay, just now I try to be assertive, I try to talk to my boss, blah blah blah, etc. Then after you mention about the situation, then you identify what are the emotions that you felt from the situation. List all of it. I feel sad, I feel guilty, I feel angry, I feel empty, or any emotion that you feel. If you don't have any emotion, for example, you don't know, I don't know what to feel, I have mixed emotion, you can always Google emotion wheel, roda emosi, emotion wheel, and take a pick. There's a lot of there are 8 core emotion and they're spread into like tens of emotion. Take a pick. Okay, which one that I can relate the most? Then after you do that, try to make like an estimation of severity. So from 0 to 100%, how much do you feel sad? From 0 to 100%, how much do you feel guilty? 100% is like really, really guilty. 0 is like no guilty at all. So try to estimate that. It helps you to identify which one is the most severe and the strongest feeling that you feel. Then after that, talk to yourself, literally verbalize yourself, just like from Amir Khan taught us in Three Idiot film. Remember, right? Put your hands on your chest. All is well. All is well. All is well. All is well. It's not exactly just like that simple dialogue. It's actually just self-talk to yourself that it's okay, Aiman. You try something new today. You try to be assertive. You try to do something new. You never feel this way, and you feel sad. You feel angry. At the same time, you feel guilty. It's okay. You can feel this way. You have the right to feel this way. Tell yourself that. Allow yourself to feel the emotion. That is the first part in acknowledging, identifying, acknowledging, and embracing from the emotion. Okay, I hope that's useful for our Min Choi.
Right. Okay.
Shall I read the next question, or would you like me to, like Sister Izdi has another point she would like to raise?
Oh no, like I was just like reading the questions. Then you can continue.
Right, okay, I think Brother Aiman sent from Sister Ashikin Juanda. Is it normal for us to be handling differently depending on who we are communicating with?
I would answer to that then. Yeah, I think so. Yes, of course, because like when you're talking, you always like express your thoughts like calmly, and then you plan beforehand what you want to see, right? So it's like depending on how the other person is, your ways of speaking up is going to be like different. So if that people is like more soft-hearted person, then that you have to plan your words more carefully. and you have to express it more calmly. And then you say if that person is someone that open, willing to take any opinions, then you can say it more like in more comfortable ways. So it's actually depending on who are you dealing with. But remember the 3 have and 3 know that Aiman shared, that is like the basic ones, but be flexible in applying the skills, be flexible in applying the techniques, depending on who you are talking to with. So that is okay. You think that, okay, I'm talking to this person like differently, like I am more assertive, I am more like strong opinionated, but she can take it. But if like the other person is more soft-hearted, maybe she's like get offended, express it in more calmly manner, and remember to always plan your words before you're saying that. Yeah. I hope that's answered the questions.
Okay, thank you so much, Sister Isti. Shall we go to the next question?
Yeah.
All right, okay, so Sister Nurul Anisa Zamri asks, from experience, I tried being assertive, but what stops me is the reaction from others. They resort to shunning and telling others that I'm difficult to deal with. How to deal with that?
I think I can try to answer that. Okay, yeah, sometimes other people may not be able to react well with how we respond. So I guess like at the end of the day, it's also about how you perceive yourself, and then of course like other people would like have a perception of you whenever you assert yourself, especially especially when it comes to others. And so how do you deal with people shunning you and such? You stay assertive, you stay respectful of yourself, you stay respectful of others as well. Because at the end of the day, like when others come to you and they ask you something and you remain assertive, meaning respectful and honest and appropriate according to the message that they are trying to deal with it, like they will see that you're not exactly like you're not being bossy or anything as well, because being assertive is all about having respect for others as well as yourself. So if people don't respect you when you speak to them, you stay respectful to others as well, because at the end of the day, it's how you perceive yourself and how you and as well as how you want others to see you. You're not, you're not trying to be disrespectful when you speak, right? Because you're trying to tell about what you feel and about what you think and your values and your beliefs, right? So I guess sometimes it does come off as difficult when like some people um shun you or like tell how you are, even though that's not what you are. You remain respectful, and just remain respectful, not just towards them but also towards yourself. Like, I know who I am. I wasn't being disrespectful to you. I was trying my best to respect you as well as respect myself at the same time. So I guess the best way is just at the end of the day also just respecting yourself and others. Does that answer the question? I hope it does.
Yes, Sister Nisa said thank you, and also Sister Ashikin also thank you to Sister Izdi as well. Shall we go to the next question? So the next question is by Sister Fatin Nur Amalina. She says, sometimes I tried to be assertive with my parents, but at the end, I just accept whatever decisions they made for me just to avoid myself from being guilty in the future. Is this behavior, can it be accepted?
Okay, I guess it's my turn, right? Okay, thank you, Fatin Amalina. That's a very good question. The situation when you with your parents, and I believe this is kind of have some kind of similarity with Sister Mastura's question before on how you be assertive with your family or especially your parents without being seen as derhaka or kurang ajar and so on. Okay, being assertive is not being aggressive. Assertive is balancing between you and the person. That's why in our just is have self-respect at the same time has respect for others. It's not about wins or losses. It's about compromising. It's not about who gonna win, but what we can win together. Maybe I'm gonna win a little, and you gonna win a little from this conflict. But at least we win together, rather than I win 100% and you lost 0%. Lost 100%, win 0%. Okay, so sometimes there are situations with your family that you feel like you just have to accept to avoid you feeling guilty in the future. And that kind of guilty, it can be based on many and multiple factors. But some of them, I believe, is sometimes it's because of the religious factor as well. Religious factor means that you have been taught that you have to or abide to your family, to your parents. You have to follow what they say because parents, we have to respect and follow them. They are like the key to our Jannah, right? But at the same time, Allah also mentioned that as long as the instruction or the thing or the stuff that have been discussed is something related to akidah, something related to right or wrong in terms of legal and religious value, you can follow that. But in terms of, for example, in terms of stuff related that is not black and white in terms right or wrong. For example, what course to take? What course should I take during my degree? Which place should I work for? Your family or your parents' opinion is an opinion. It's not a fact. They can give their opinion based on their value, based on their islands, based on their perspective, based on their views of the world. But in the end, you are the one need to be walk the path. So find a common middle ground, and if you feel like you're being aggressive or being kurang ajar, it's always better to shut up rather than to speak out loud. Sometimes sometimes we feel emotional and we want like, oh mana boleh, cannot lah, you feel that emotion. So sometimes it's better just to shut up, bite the bullet, and just don't say anything. Because not saying anything is so much better than saying the truth, the hurtful things. So how to is the behavior can be accepted if you feel guilty in the future? I would say that also depending on you, on how you're going to deal with the guilty feeling later. Okay.
Thank you, Brother Aiman. Okay, shall we go to the next question? So this is by Sister Ain Shakira. She asked, how to be assertive with aggressive person?
So, okay, like feel free to add out on my notes or answers. So I think the first step to like deal or communicate with an aggressive person is for you to remain calm, because like the absolute like most important thing when dealing with someone who's being aggressive to you is being calm and stay grounded. Don't lose yourself, don't lose your temper, don't lose your emotions. So keep remaining calm, and then after that, try to empathize as well, but then at the same time, slowly express your concern. So because if she's or the other person is aggressive and you as well using your emotions and become aggressive, and the conversation is not going well. So it's taking your time to comprehend the concerns and then express your opinion or express your concern or the thoughts more in I think in more factual manner. Try to be like factual. Okay, this is what from my opinion, this is this and that, and express your concern, and then remember that you're being honest with yourself and you are respecting them, and but at the same time you have to respect yourself as well. So I think that's my opinion, and Adilah and Aiman, feel free to add on that.
I guess again, being assertive is to be respectful juga and to be direct as well. But aggressive people tend to as much as honest as they are and direct as how they say the words that they say, they're going to continuously be aggressive about their opinion or their statements and the such, right? So being assertive again is about being respectful. You continuously be respectful. Tapi at the same time, if you feel like, okay, I don't think I can continuously be calm with this person, especially if they start screaming at my face or like starts blaming me for absolutely no reason, then of course we all have limitations, right? And then if the best solution is to walk away, then just walk away. Because you can't reason with somebody who's continuously is aggressive towards you, right? So just remain calm. remain respectful. You don't want, if you provoke the other person, it's gonna get even more aggressive, right? And if you just like, yelah tu, then you became passive about it, right? So assertiveness again is to stand your own ground and to assert what your opinions and your feelings. But if dia dah tak faham bahasa, just back off lah. Because sometimes like you can't reason with somebody who's like screaming at your face, right? Yeah.
Okay, Aiman, I think you can take the last question. I think that's the last question in the chat box, and then we can.
So the last question asks how to apply state in like child rearing pada anak-anak supaya mereka membesar as assertive people.
Okay, I believe that we almost at the end of our session. I have been told that we have to end actually. So I just give this question a simple answer, but I believe a good answer, which is kids are the best imitators. So give them something good and great to imitate. That's all.
Thank you
Just
so
explanation, you have to be assertive lah. So the child kena explain juga kan. sorry. Yeah, that's all. Okay, finish.
Right, thank you so much. We'll pass this back to Brother Mohammad, the MC of today.
Dear guests, we have reached the end of our webinar today. We will save the other questions and send it to the presenters for them to answer and return them to you via email. We would like to inform you this is the last webinar hosted by Psychology Services Unit this year. We would like to thank everyone, especially our participants today, for being so great. Without you, this webinar would not have been successful. We will provide certificates, so don't forget to fill in the attendance link. We apologize for the limitations and hope that if the situation permits, we could have an even better session in the future. Hopefully then we could see you again. For now, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Take care and stay safe. We would like to invite all participants for a photograph session.
Alright, so for everyone, if possible, turn on your cameras and have basically the biggest smile that you could ever have as well. Considering this is our very final webinar, we want to thank you so much for actually staying with us. So remember to smile because it might take a while considering the size of the Zoom session. Alright, I will count to 3. So whenever it comes to 3, smile. Alright, 1, 2. Wait, one moment now. Alright, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Alright, okay. One moment. Still more. 1, 2, 3. Alright, okay. One last big smile for everyone here. 1, 2, 3. Thank you so much again. Alright, kid. Thank you to all our presenters, our speakers. We will send out this photo to you through email. Right, thank you. Assalamualaikum.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you everybody for attending
Thank you,
to our
everyone.
talk. I hope you enjoyed it. Woohoo!
I know, I did.
Glad you did, Aiman.
Glad that stuff.
We all do. Okay, thank you, everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Be assertive, have respect for yourself to take a rest now. Just leave. Okay, just leave.